Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today in MTG Giant, we're going to be doing a deck review of Niv-mizzet Parun. Let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go over some of the biggest combos in the deck. So a couple of them are the Magic Mirror, which is 6 and 3 mana, and this spell costs 1 less to cost for each instant sorcery card in your graveyard, assuming you have any. You have no maximum hand size, and at the beginning of your upkeep, put a knowledge counter on the Magic Mirror. Then draw a card for each knowledge counter on the Magic Mirror. And along with that is the Royal Scions. Its +1 is draw a card, then discard a card. Its other +1 is target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and trample until end of turn. Okay. Its -8 is draw 4 cards. When you do, the Royal Scions deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. Its Rowan Scholar Sparks. Its main ability is instant sorcery spell you cast, costs 1 less to cast. Its uptick is 1, and Rowan Scholar Sparks deals 1 damage to each opponent. If you've drawn 3 or more cards this turn, she deals 3 damage to each opponent instead. And its -4 is you get an emblem whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may pay 2. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new target for the copy. And then there is Zaphi Thunder Conductor, and it's 2 and a blue and red, and it's 1/4. And in Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. If that spell's mana value is 5 or greater, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. If that spell's mana value is 10 or greater, Zaphi Thunder Collector deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen at random. Then, along with the other previous cards, is Parun, Voice of Duality. It has Magecraft as well, but this one is whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Parun, Voice of Duality gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If you casting or copying an instant or sorcery spell causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger that ability in additional time. 1,000-Year Storm is an enchantment, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant and sorcery spell you've cast this turn. Before this turn, you may choose new targets for the copies. Along with that is Swarm Intelligence. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Now, I'm going to save Curiosity for last. Shark Typhoon is the next one. It's a really good one with all of them. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. Cycling is X, and 1 generic and a blue. And whenever you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but another really good sorcery is Compulsive Research. Target player draws 3 cards, then that player discards 2 cards unless they discard a land card. There's a pretty good ratio of 60 to 40 lands in here. 60 cards in general, and then 40 lands in the deck. And another good sorcery is Brass Bounty. For each land you control, create a treasure token. And if you have a lot of lands, then you can copy it with the Rowan Scholar Sparks ability, and you can do Parun, Voice of Duality, and it'll trigger an additional time. And then we have Sublime Epiphany, is choose 1 or more. You get a counter target spell, counter target activated or triggered ability, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, and the target player draws a card. Now we're going to go over a few other things. Some really good starts is getting a Soaring along with Arcane Signet, and then next round getting a Gilded Lotus, assuming you placed the land because you had to. Another good creature spell is Omnispell. It's Adept. It's 4 generic mana and 1 blue, and 2 generic mana and 1 blue. You get to tap it, and you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its mana cost, which is absolutely insane to me. And then Leer, Disciple of the Drowned. The spells can't be countered, and each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. The flashback cost is equal to that card's mana cost, which is absolutely insane to me. And then Charmbreaker Devils. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Charmbreaker Devils gets +4/+0 until end of turn. And then we have Sphinx of Final Word. Sphinx of the Final Word can't be countered. It has flying and hexproof. It's a 5/5. And instant and sorcery spells you control can't be countered by spells or abilities. Then we have Tarland, Sky Summoner. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. That's just a lot of synergy. And then a lot of synergy is Erratic Cyclops. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Erratic Cyclops gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. Then we're going to have Jace Wielder Mysteries and Jaya Ballard. Its uptick is 1, and you get to pay 3, and you get 3 mana of red, and spend this mana only to cast instant and sorcery spells. Its other uptick is also 1, and discard up to 3 cards, then draw that many cards. So some extra card draw. And its -8 is you get an emblem with you may cast instant sorcery spells from your graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile instead. We have Myriad Conjecture, obviously, and then for extra card draw scenarios is Ominous Seas and Jace Erasure in Sorcerer's class. Then we have Maddening Cacophony, just for some extra pizzazz. Also, we have Apex of Power, which is 7 generic mana and 3 red, and exile the top 7 cards of your library until end of turn. You may cast spells from among them. If the spell is cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any one color. And then you have Fervent Mastery, which is 3 generic and 2 mountains. And you may pay 2 generic and 2 mountains rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If the 2 generic and 2 mountains cost was paid, your opponent discards any number of cards, then draws that many cards. Search your library for up to 3 cards, put them into your hand, shuffle, then discard 3 cards at random. Then we have Drawn from Dreams, and then Quadruplicate, Strategic Planning, Windfall, Fireball, Glimpse of Tomorrow, Void Snare, Divination, Tales of the Ancestors, Culmination of Studies, Multiple Choice, Surge to Victory, and Aether Gale. We're going to go with instance. So obviously we had Sublime Epiphany, which was the main one, but we also had Broken Concentration, Saw It Coming, Shock, Opt, Throw Possibility, Memory Drain, and Neutralize. And with the amount of mana, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 mana for blue. And for red, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, no, 16, 17. We have 17 for mountain, and 18 for island. And we have a Shimmerdrift Veil, an Evolving Wilds, Temple of Epiphany, and a Command Tower. Now for the last and most ultimate combo, which is Curiosity and Niv-mizzet Parun. 3 islands and 3 mountains. And this spell can't be countered, and it's flying, 5/5. And whenever you draw a card, Niv-mizzet Parun deals 1 damage to any target. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery card or spell, you may draw a card. And if you enchant Curiosity to it, enchant creature, and it's only 1 blue. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. And that's not combat damage, so it's actually an infinite combo of infinite damage and drawing cards, but you don't want to mill yourself out. That's why I added Jace Wielder Mysteries. If you draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. So that's just a backup. Usually that won't happen, usually you won't need to do that, but considering on the card draw, it might happen. Anyways, this is my Niv-mizzet deck. Come back when you can, subscribe, share, comment, everything. Like as well. Yeah, bye. Whatever. See ya!